In a significant shift, Columbia University has agreed to a series of demands laid down by US President Donald Trump in exchange for the reinstatement of its $400 million in federal funding, which was revoked last month. Trump's administration had accused the university of failing to protect Jewish students from antisemitic harassment following a wave of protests on campus related to the Israel-Gaza conflict. The university's decision to meet these demands has raised concerns about academic freedom and free speech. The controversy began last year when Columbia became a focal point during nationwide protests sparked by Israel's military actions in Gaza. On the 30th of April, a group of students, staff, and alumni occupied Hamilton Hall, which is a major academic building, to voice their support for Palestinians. The demonstration ended with the intervention of New York police, who cleared the building at the request of the university's leadership. The Trump administration, which had already adopted a tough stance on such protests, took swift action, pledging to deport students involved in the demonstrations. Shortly afterward, the administration revoked Columbia's US federal funding, citing the university's failure to protect Jewish students from the alleged anti-Semitic behavior during the protests. The US government issued a list of demands stating that Columbia could only have its funding restored if it met specific conditions aimed at addressing these concerns. After weeks of negotiations, Columbia University agreed to a number of concessions. Some of the most notable changes include ban on face masks. Columbia has agreed to ban students from wearing face masks during protests or other campus demonstrations. This move is intended to discourage anonymity during campus protests, particularly those that may involve contentious or disruptive actions. Empowerment of campus police. The university has agreed to grant special powers to 36 campus police officers, giving them the authority to arrest students involved in protests or disruptive behavior. This change is seen as a significant increase in campus security measures. New senior provost for Middle Eastern and Palestinian studies. In a significant restructuring of academic oversight, Columbia has agreed to appoint a new senior provost to oversee the Department of Middle Eastern, South Asian, and African Studies, as well as the Center for Palestine Studies. This move is viewed as an attempt to ensure more stringent oversight over academic programs related to the Middle East and Palestine. These actions were taken in exchange for the potential reinstatement of Columbia's federal funding, which had been a vital financial resource for the university. The demands came after months of tensions between the US government and universities across the country, particularly following the escalating protests related to the Israel-Gaza conflict. Earlier this month, US authorities escalated the situation, sending a letter to 60 academic institutions, including Columbia, warning them that they were under investigation for anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination. The letter also warned universities that they could face further funding cuts or law enforcement actions if they did not take immediate steps to protect Jewish students. One high-profile case involved Mahmoud Khalil, a 29-year-old Columbia student who played a key role in organizing the pro-Palestine protests. Khalil was arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents from his residence in Upper Manhattan. ICE agents announced that they would revoke Khalil's green card, claiming he had engaged in activities that could justify his removal from the US. As the deadline for the university to meet the government's demands approached, Columbia issued a memo to the US administration confirming that it had agreed to all of the stipulated terms. The university also provided an update on its actions regarding students involved in the Hamilton Hall occupation, stating that it had expelled, suspended, or revoked the degrees of several individuals who participated in the protest.